Some people are single because they choose to be. They may not simply be interested in being in a serious relationship or any kind of relationship at the moment. However, for all those others who may not want to be single but who yet find themselves single, this video is for you. The point of this video isn't to stereotype all single women and men out there but to however help them answer the question, why am I still single? 1. Defenses. If you've been in a previous relationship, then you may or may not have been hurt in an interpersonal relationship. If you have previously been hurt in a relationship, then with time and painful experiences, you are in the risk zone of building up varying degrees of bitterness and thereby becoming defended. A process such as this process usually begins long before we've started dating. During childhood, most of us most likely got put in hurtful situations which lead us to put up walls and shut ourselves out from the world, hide the real us from the people around us. This can negatively impact us as adults, especially when it comes to relationships and dating, as these adaptations can cause us to become increasingly self-protective and closed off from the people around us. This may result in us writing people off too easily as we want to resist being too vulnerable. If your parents were negligent or cold towards you during childhood, this may have resulted in you growing up with feeling distrusting of affection. Which in other words mean you may feel suspicious of people who show a bit too much interest for your liking, and you instead distance yourself from these people rather than opening yourself up to be loved and taken care of. If you've ever blamed your singleness on external factors, you may simply have failed to realize that you aren't as open as you think you are. 2. Unhealthy attractions. As we put up our defenses, we usually tend to choose a less than ideal relationship partner. If raised in a cold or negligent environment, we may end up establishing an unsatisfying relationship rather than a satisfying one by choosing a person who isn't emotionally available and better fit our past, the environment we grew up in. And as this process is largely unconscious, once the romantic period of the relationship has sailed, we often blame our partner for the failure of the relationship rather than ourselves. This may leave us feeling devastated or hurt without recognizing that we are actually the ones seeking out this pattern. So why do we do this then if it's clearly bad for us? The answer is, it's complex. Usually, it's based on our own embedded fears of intimacy. Some people's unconscious mind motivates them to seek out these relationships that reinforce critical thoughts they have long had toward themselves or any other habit they've adapted from their childhood. These relationships may be unpleasant, but they're easier than breaking our old patterns and will cause us a great deal less anxiety and discomfort than trying to break them and living feeling strangely alien-like and alone in a more loving environment. As a result, our fears of parting with the image we've developed from early on of ourselves, and instead of starting to shed a more positive light on ourselves, puts us at unease and may instead trigger self-attacking thought that eats on your self-confidence, such as, who do you think you are? You're not that great. These are the thoughts and fears that may cause us to hold on to relationships that we know have no potential, or to make us feel attracted to people who aren't available nor is the person we are looking for, just because it helps reinforce our negative image of ourselves. And as with anything in life, it's easier to accept something albeit it may not be the best rather than fight it. 3. Fear of intimacy. Psychologist and author Robert Firestone wrote in an article called, "You Don't Want What You Say You Want," the following: most of us profess that we want to find a loving partner, but the experience of real love disrupts the fantasies of love that have served as a survival mechanism since early childhood. Pushing away and punishing the beloved acts to preserve one's negative self-image and reduces anxiety. What this all means is that our fears surrounding intimacy may develop into a concern over someone if we feel like they are liking us too much, or any other irrational reason not to date a person. Another way our fear of intimacy may kick in and keep us being single is by trying to punish the other person by being critical and thereby meaning and threatening to them. That way, our unconsciousness makes sure we don't get the loving responses we say we want. 4. Pickiness. Our defenses may sometimes lead us to be pickier and/or more judgmental. This is particularly true when we've had a bad experience or two. A situation like this may be one where we've been deceived or rejected by a person for whom we had strong feelings for. In situations like these, many women tend to start having thoughts such as, "There are no decent men out there," or "All the good ones are taken," while men may have thoughts more like, "You can't trust a woman," or "Women are all out to take advantage of you." These thoughts may all derive from our own unrealistic expectations of a partner or our ability to pinpoint weaknesses from the moment we meet someone. Because of all of this, we tend to write off a range of potential partners before even giving them a chance. 5. Low self-esteem. Often, people believe they want a fulfilling relationship more than anything else, yet they believe that no one worthwhile would be interested in them. We all have to face our inner critical voice from time to time that tells us we are too fat, too ugly, too old, or maybe, as absurdly as it may sound, too different. If we listen to these voices inside our head to tend to engage in behaviors that push people away from us rather than attract them. Often, these are the reasons we put on ourselves why we are still single, but it's not. Our lack of self-confidence is one of the biggest facts about why we are still single. This is because a lack of confidence puts out signals of not being open. So it's very important to avoid listening to these voices, and as Nike's slogan goes, just do it. Screwing something up will yield a much better result on the people around you than not doing anything and thereby show a lack of confidence. Thank you for watching. As this video was a rather deep video, it may trigger some feelings. We'd love to hear what you have to say after watching the video down below in the comments. If you liked the video, please feel free to leave a like, and if you want to get more tips and tricks on how to attract the guy of your dreams, feel free to subscribe and click the link in the description to learn more.